Hey, so in this video, I'm going to talk about a really important topic called attention sculpting. Now, don't worry about it. I'm going to explain attention sculpting in really great detail, and I'm also going to show you examples. But first, let's step back and let's understand what the primary purpose of any piece of content is, like or a product page. I mean, in my case, the things that I obsess about are product pages. But it doesn't matter what type of online business you are, whether it's your homepage, your category page, your checkout flow. What you're trying to do is you're writing copy to persuade and convince the shopper. So the content is the most important. Now, what happens is clients will hire a copywriter, a really great copywriter, who will write this wonderful sales pitch. And then they will place that sales pitch on the product page. And once the project is done, the copywriter moves on to another client and starts creating content for some other brand. And the way the brand knows if this wonderfully written content was good or not is by triangulating it and comparing it to the overall sales impact. If the sales go up, we conclude the copy was great. If the sales don't move, then we conclude the copy was a waste of our time. I think this is the wrong way of looking at it, and I'm going to share with you a couple of interesting ideas. So the first thing is that do we even know that our readers, our visitors on the product page, are reading the sales pitch that we have created for them? And I know the answer is, oh, of course they are. And I can tell you for a fact they're 100% not. More likely not, right? So I'm going to share with you. And first of all, let me just give you a little backstory about how I even came up with this idea. I was actually working on a test for a client this morning. I can't talk about that specific test, but what I can do is I can look at a very specific example and show you what I experienced this morning. So right now we're looking at this product page. This is for a brand called Nama, really excellent brand. And you'll notice that they have their part of their sales pitch over here. And then they have more of their sales pitch broken down to nice visual, elements over here, over here, over here. Then they have more of their sales pitch over here. Then they've got these visual elements over here. They've got these visual elements over here again, which include the sales pitch. Then they've got the different kinds of things you can do visually, but then there's also copy written over here. Then they've got reviews. They've got these video elements over here. And then below that, they've got some more reviews. And then they've got some more benefits that they're again showcasing visually. Then this is really good content. They're explaining how the product is made, the philosophy behind it. Then there's a video library that talks about their story, all that. So this is like really, really good, great content. Now, when I was looking at my client's data, I noticed something weird, which is that what happened was we had written all the copy for the client, and I noticed that the users completely bypassed all of my copy, all of it, not just parts of it, but all of it, and scrolled down to the review section. And I noticed a lot of click activity over here. So they were going from page 1 to page 2 to page 3. And this is a real problem, because what this tells me is that they are really heavily relying on social proof, which is, we were fortunate in this case because the client has thousands of reviews and lots of great reviews. But as a copywriter, I want them to read my sales pitch before they start reading the reviews. It's almost like the reviews confirmed to them that the sales pitch was accurate. So if they start reading the reviews first, I've kind of lost, because I'm relying on the user to scroll back up to a very strategic location and start reading the content. And so this is where the idea of attention sculpting comes in. You see that our job is not just to write copy. Our job is to create a visual layout where the user is naturally flowing in a certain way. Now, we can't restrict the user, we can't have barriers, but we can create design cues, and you'll be amazed how powerful these design cues are. So I'm going to show you going back to the element that I'll give you an example of how you can do this. So one way of doing this is what you could do is what happened was the user saw this, right? And then they scrolled here and they kind of completely flew past this element. It wasn't like they didn't go through it. They had to have gone through it, but they flew past it, which is a real problem, right? So what you do is, and there are many ways of doing attention sculpting. One way of doing it is to actually add a overlay over here You can put a translucent screen. You're basically obscuring the image in the background. Now, this has a very important psychological effect because we are used to seeing high resolution images and high resolution text. So when you have something that obscures an image, our brain slows down because we can't process that, and we want the user to slow down right now. And on that image, you can have some kind of copy. You can say something like, our blender or our juicer has 3,500 reviews, but before you read those reviews, we'd like to first tell you about what makes us the best in the world. Now, a couple of important things have happened here. The user who was trying to bypass this content to read the reviews where now knows that we're specifically talking to them, and this is what we call narrative control. But what's really important here is that we've now given them a connective thread and said, listen, we know that you want to read the reviews and we have tons of reviews for you to read. However, before you read them, please see what makes us unique. Now, this text is shown on top of that frosted glass background. So the user can make out there's something behind it, but they can't access it. So they actually have to click on this text to hide the text and the frosted glass effect to actually read the copy. And this creates a dramatic effect which gets the user to focus in on the content and read the content. So this is one example of attention sculpting. And you can actually apply these kind of guardrails across your entire page. So every time the user deviates from it, you're giving them a little micro nudge to go back to where they left off, because as a copywriter, there is a very clear narrative arc that I want the user to follow. And the user doesn't always follow this. So whenever they deviate from it, we want to kind of give them a little nudge to come back to the original design narrative arc. So that is the whole idea behind attention sculpting. I hope this helped.